Good morning, champions. Hope you're doing good and a very happy Ramadan for all of you. And let's get quickly started with part number 11 of full stack web application development, right? And what we have done so far is the following, right? We have called on click, we have called check availability function, and we have passed. Now you might be confused regarding 2-3 things that we have done in the past. Now let's see what we are doing here. Whenever you click on this paragraph check availability, you're calling check availability function and passing a parameter string email, right? And here what you are doing, you are passing on username, you're passing username, and you're calling the same function. So let me go and check what is happening here in check availability. Now you are passing if there is no option, if you're not let's say, but if you're not passing any option right here, because you are passing, because you're clicking, the option is there once you click, right? So let me tell you, sorry, the moment you click here, right, so you are basically passing something to it, right? So that's why you are either passing username or you're passing email. Then what I do here, I say if the value you have passed is equivalent to username, then grab the value of txt username. If the value passed here is email, then grab the value of txt email. If you're passing email, then grab that means by both the ways you're passing and grabbing value of 1, else option is equal to blank, and then you're calling get, right? All right, now once you're calling get function, right, and where are you calling get, right? You're passing using the http get you can say verb, you're passing it to register.jsp. What are you passing? One, the value, another the option value. What is the value? Value is the value that you have passed, and option takes basically the value either from username or from email, right? So if it is username, you take value from username, take it in option. If it is email, take input from email and take an option. Now option is going to have either the value of input type text username or input type text email. So that's what is happening. And val is going to have username capital or email capital. So you're passing both to this function, right? You're passing it to register.jsp, and you're not using JSON, you're passing two separate values right here, right? Let me go to register, and you know that success function takes back whatever this register.jsp page is passing you back. Now we know that if it's post, we are not posting. This is what is happening on registration. So when I click, when I enter, now this is the validation. Please write your first name, right? And on get, you're doing option. Now see, you're using a username here, right? If you want to change it, you can change it, right? Whatever value, right, you have passed, you're taking it in the username. So value can either have username or value can either have password, sorry, not the password, but email in capital, right? And we know that option will either have input type text, right, which is either txt email or txt username. So either txt email value or txt username value, which is going to this option. And then you're calling check username, and you're passing the object, right? Because you're setting it to the object, you're calling check username email. Now what is happening here is what you are doing here is something different. If it is if the username, which is, what does username have? Okay, now this username can have capital email or capital password, right? Okay. Now, if username has capital username, then you are making a query, right, where you are selecting from username, right? You are saying select ID from students, where username is equal to, and get the option. Option has a txt input type text value of the username. And here what you are doing, you are doing the same, but you are only doing a change. You're taking email, where email is equal to the option. It's very simple. You can call two functions, right? If you want, you can call two separate functions for them. So there's absolutely no problem. If you want to call, you can call. So let us call two functions. So let me see. Now we have check username, right? And we have check, but for that you have to create two different parameters right here. You still have to pass two different parameters, right? For example, I will create, okay, let me do it once again for you. All right, okay, let me just make two functions. So I'll say public string check email. So now it takes user, right? And now you will not have to do this if here, so you can directly say this, all right? You can directly say user.setQuery and user.get email. You can do this, no problem. All right, and let me delete this all if and else. But yeah, there's an option of reusing a current function that you can if you want, right? And here what I do, instead of get check option, I'll say get user, or you can say get email, right? And here I will say get user name, all right? So both the functions are now valid. All right. So now whenever you call check username, you are setting the query where user.email is equal to user.getEmail, and then you are using the same, right? So I'll just use the same here. In this function, I'll use the same. Fine. And now if you're getting the results, you can see either available or you're getting not available, right? So now you're calling two functions. Now we have two functions here. One is check username, another is check email and check username, right? And both are taking input type username, and here you are doing get username. Oh no, why are we doing public string check email where username is equivalent to, yeah, why is it check email then? No, done something wrong. Okay. Let us differentiate this. Okay, check username, select ID from students where email where user name. So I will say where username is equivalent to user.get user name. So this is check username, and I'll go to check email, select ID from students where email is equivalent to user.get email, all right? And now it can return if the username is found, it returns not available. If it is not found, then it returns available. Now let me go to this register.jsp back, and now we have to do different things right here, right? If it is get and you don't have to do anything, so I'll say request.get parameter value. You're getting two things now, either, okay, let me just delete all. Alright, now you're getting two things, a request.get parameter option and request.get parameter value, right? So value can either be from the username or from, so I will say if request.get parameter which is option and which is username, I'll go back to count.js, right? So you can clearly see that option has the value and value has the input, right? So I will say if request.get parameter value dot equals, right, if it is equivalent to what, you tell me. If it is equivalent to username, then you go and call, right, and you go and call, let me make an object, so I'll say accounts controller AC. Well, that's already made, oh sorry, all right, so that's already there. Accounts controller AC is called a new accounts controller. So I'll say AC dot check username and pass the object user. But before passing the object user, I will say user dot set username as, right, request.get parameter option. That's it. All right, now that's done. user.set username, request.get parameter option, and then you call ac.check. So now I say else if request dot get parameter value dot equals email. All right, so if now then the value is email, I will say user dot, so or I can copy this, user dot set email request dot get parameter option. All right, and then you do one thing, you call this ac dot check username. All right, and instead of check username I call check email. So let's see what it does. All right, so now if I keep a username, let me keep it Fahimkh, Fahim Khan. So I'll say check availability, so I'll say not available. All right, so if I say Fahim Khan something, so I get available. Right, now if I go to check availability of email, I type some email. Okay, here, so I will type email, so I'll say, okay, sorry, what is happening? Still it's calling, it's calling it fast. Without even me typing anything, you can see this. Okay, so it's calling it fast. Now you can see it's calling it fast. Let me do one thing here. Alright, so let me go back to the JS function. Alright, so I'll go here. This AJAX will only work. Alright, so I will say if that option is passed, but yeah, if this option, either txt username and email, if option dot length is greater than 2 characters, right, then and then execute this, right, else, right, you can say alert, right, I can say alert please, or we can say nothing to check. Alright, so that's what we can do here. Let me refresh and go to check availability. What is happening here? Okay, we are having something being executed here. Check availability. Okay, let me see what is happening here. If I type the username Fahim, yeah, now you can see something is wrong here. If I type, then there is no problem, right? So I'll say Fahim Khan, check availability, so I'll get not available. But yeah, if I do autocorrect, for example, if I want to autofill this, so it's getting submitted. Right, why is it getting submitted? That's a problem. Okay, let me go back to register student and check JavaScript, check availability of user name. So whenever this paragraph is clicked, alright, so then and only then you do this, and whenever this paragraph is clicked on, click. So what if I just say C is capital and I make this C capital, because you have to do it on click here, right? And now if I click, yeah, now we can see it's working fine. Okay, now if I say check availability, not available. So if I say comms, you get available, right? And if I go here, Fahim Khan, so I should get not available. If I say KHANS, so not available. Alright, so now we are getting available. So here we had that problem, an indentation maybe, right? It was called maybe, I don't know. You can see now it's not called. Yeah, it's working fine. Had some problem. Okay, Fine, let's go back and see what is happening. Now you're calling the both functions. Go to accounts controller, accounts.js, now what you're doing here, you're saying that only if option.length is greater than 2, that means if there is something, you're not checking the, you can see this right here. If I just keep one length and say check availability, you'll say nothing to check. If I say both fs, nothing to check. So that's why the length has to be more than 2. Still, we are not using regular expressions, that I'm completely aware of. We'll be using regular expressions in the next lecture, and we'll try and validate it more professionally. All right. Okay, now then absolutely fine. All right, we're getting not available. Right now, what we can do right here in accounts controller, if it is username, I will say right user name not available. Right, or I can say username available. Right, this is what we can do. All right, and I will go to my email. Right, check email. I can change user.setMessage to email not available. Right, or we can say email available. Right, so email not available, email available, and username not available, and username available. So let us see now what's happening. I'll go and see. Okay, so we're getting username because you clicked on username, right? So that's why you're getting username. If I say this, username not available, and now if I check email, email not available, right? So it's working absolutely fine. But the only matter of fact is we still have to call the progress bar here, right, while it's checking. Right, and let me go to Java accounts.js and do the rest. Right, okay, fine. So now we're going for the option. Right, so I will say if option dot, or we can say if option is equivalent to is equivalent to is equivalent to 3 is equivalent to comparison is very good in JavaScript. Right, so if it is equivalent to username not available, so if it is equivalent to username not available, then what you do, you call the username. So I'll say hash txt username dot css. Now I'm calling the css property, which is background. Right, you can set background dash color, and you can set it to red. Now let us see whether it turns red or not. When it is going to turn username not available, right? So whenever it is username not available, it's going to turn red. So let me write. Okay, it's not working. Maybe we have done something wrong here. So I'll say txt username dot css is equivalent to background red. If option is equivalent to is equivalent to is equivalent to username not available. Is this the same string we are getting? Let's say username not available, maybe. Alright, so let me see username. Okay, this spelling mistake, huh? So I'll just correct this spelling mistake, and I'll correct it everywhere. Username not available. Right, and now we will see what happens if I search for some username which is already existing. Okay, it turns red. You can see it turns red. It is not available. You can clearly see, or what you can do is so I can say else if, right? So I can go and say else if option is equivalent to username is available. right? So if option is username available, right, what you got to do is turn it green. So that way you can do it. So nothing to check. So if it is available, right, so let me check for availability, not turning. So if the option is equal to available, again spelling mistakes are basically, so I'll copy this, username available. If this is the option username available, then you show me green. Red is coming, but green is not coming. Yeah, now green is also coming. Right? Yeah, you can see green is coming. So I'll say HIM KHAN. So it is not available. Now red. So something which is available, you get green. Right. So now what I do here, so instead of background, I'll say border dash color, and I'll say BORDER border dash color here as well. And let us see, and this paragraph which is basically being tested, okay, so let me see, we're getting green border right here. You can clearly see we're getting green, and if it is not available, so we are getting a red border when it is not available, right? Okay, we can get the border through, or you can get the throughout border, but you can see you are getting a red, and you can even call, right, you can say color of the foreground is green and color of the foreground is red. So that's what it can do. Now if I check, now even the color should go green, right? You can see txt username.cs color green and color red. So let me try again, username FHIM KHAN. So I'll have to check. Yeah, now you can see not available, it's green, right? And second is going to be, if I check for something which is available, yeah, it turns green when it is available. So that's what we can do, all right? And we can show near check availability. So we have this check availability here, all right? We can use a span, all right? And we can use a span ID, all right, is equal to u message, right? So this is u message, and near check availability, no, it's not u message, now it is e message because we're checking email. And just near username we have u message, and I'll use and BSP, right? And let's use two spaces before I go with this. So we are using two spaces here, and check availability here we are using two spaces here. E-message and e-user name is what we have done. So I'll go, despite and apart from setting the color, what I can do is I'll do the same here. So I will say $#, so I will say I'll say u message dot html. So I'll say u message dot html. I'm going to set, I will say not, or I can say not available. I can display this message that it's not available. Alright, so we're getting not available, right? As simple as anything, right? And here you are getting it available. Alright, so now that's done. Now if it is available, so you're getting available, but yeah, AVAILABLE, why am I getting it in red? I should not get it in red, it should be green. Alright, so let me say for him, check availability, not available. For example, I type something, available, it turns green, it should also turn green. So I will say dot CSS, I can apply it here, right? So I'll say color, and I'll apply GRE and green here, right? So I can apply color green here so that it turns green. Okay, final test, FAHIM. Let me see if Fahim is available. Yeah, green, it is available. Now let me see Fahim Khan. Check availability, it is not available, it's still green. I'll have to change it here as well. Yeah, I will have to do these changes. Okay. Right, so I'll do the CSS change here as well, and I will set it to red. Now availability is done, so now let's refresh. Try and register a new student. So I will say, for example, so let's say Mamoon. Alright, so I don't remember his last name, so I don't have to take it because I don't require, right? So I'll say username, MAMOONJAN, he types MJ. Alright, so now let me see Mamoon Jan, and quickly you'll see it is available. So if I type something, okay, let me register him, and say password. I know his Facebook password. So if I say this, let me say check availability. Okay, we haven't typed anything for email yet, right? So we'll have to do that, right? Okay, now if it is same, copy and paste, I'll copy this and paste it in the same way, and I'll say, instead of if, I will say else if, right, option is equivalent to email not available. Is that so? Let me go to the function and see, without refreshing anything, we are doing everything just like fingertips, right? Okay, email not available, and spelling mistakes are here, right? So it is email not available, and the second process, email, so I'll say email is, or email available, right? So let it be email not available and email available. If it is email not available, you do this, and if it is email available, then you go ahead and instead of you message, you set it to e-message. Instead of you message, you set it to e-message, and instead of txt username, you set it to txt email. So as simple as anything. Done, 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 done. Now both email and username are done. So let me try Mamoon Jan. Alright, so check availability for Mamoon. Yeah, Mamoon, you're available. Password. Alright. Password. Yeah, what is it? All other features. So we'll have to say Fahim @gmail not available. MAMOONJAN @gmail.com. Say check availability. Now it's showing. Now see, it works within a fraction of a second. You see, you'll not be able to notice how fast it works. Check availability. Not available. Alright. Mamunjan @gmail.com, and fraction of a second, check availability, available, right? Enter your mobile number, enter your contact number, choose your date of birth. Yeah, we still have to do many things with this date of birth. Select your gender, male, and you register. You'll be registered, right? So my database is not connected, so I just disconnected the database. That was sorry, not the database, the code here, I had replaced it. But yeah, now you can see that availability is working absolutely fine, right? So each and everything is working fine. And what else do we require, right, it is already registered. Now if I check availability, right, and there's Mamoon Jan and every single thing, it is male 22/10/2020, and he is just born, not just born, he is yet to born, right? Alright, then this is working. Let me take a look at the timing. So we still have good amount of time left, right? I hope you have understood these techniques, right? And different techniques that you can apply for this is, say about we don't have this check availability, for example. Alright, so you mind if I delete this check availability here? Now, for example, if I don't have this check availability, and I'll delete this, right? And I don't have this P as paragraph. I have this paragraph set to be here, but yeah, I'm not calling it, right? So I'm not calling check availability right here, right? So now this is here, okay? And let me go and delete it here. So I'm not calling anything. So let me delete, no on click, no check availability, right? So I'm having only one thing, which is this U message and this span, right? So now you can see it's clear and crystal. Now what I can do right here is I can go to my username and I'll say here, hey, I don't want on click, I want on blur. Whenever you blur it out, right? So I want to call the same function, which is JavaScript check availability, and I'm passing USERNAME because I have to check for user, and this time I'm doing on blur. So now let's see what happens. Now if I write my first name, if I write my username FHIMKHAN, if I blur out or go hit enter or hit tab to go to the next field, now you can clearly see, okay, it should work. On blur Java check availability of user name. Okay, just let me see. Hello. We were getting hello here, so absolutely fine. Okay, on blur we are checking the availability, so let me see. All right. Okay. We're not getting anything here. Okay. I'll debugging again, so let me debug it quickly. And we're calling this function check availability. So let me alert on blur and say return, just for debugging purpose, right? So let me say FAHIM and I blur out, okay, Fahim, and I say on blur. No, it's not called on blur. Am I calling it at the right time and at the right place? Is it email or username? I don't know. Yeah, it is username, right? I'm not doing alert here, so let me go back to register student. Okay, on blur, whenever you blur out, so blur is not going to work here, maybe. Okay. Okay, blur is not going to work with P, it's going to work only with text area. Okay, I'll go to this right here, txt username, and I will type this on blur here. I will say, hey, txt username, whenever you're blurred, right, whenever the focus is out of you, check availability for the username. And I'll hit Bismillah and see it works, right? Alright, so now we go blur alert is working absolutely fine. I was doing wrong. You cannot do blur on paragraph. Blur is only possible on txt values. Input type text input type text can be blurred, and input type text and text area and remaining things, they can also be blurred. Now, so repeat, on blur you're testing the function check availability and passing username, and I've got rid of the alert now, and let's see now the actual thing. Okay, I'll type my name, and you can see immediately Fahim is available. But if I type Fahim and I say KHA and I blur out, you can see it's getting not available without any button. You blur out, now you have to go to the next field. For example, if I do the same here with blur, I will do the same with email this time. Enter your email address is here, and I'll say, hey brother, you mind if you blur and I pass email? On blur, I'll passing email, right? So it is going to be, so let me write Fahim and KHAN. Choose a username, Fahim Khan, not available. Immediately I get not available. I'll say password, email address. Now I go to email, Fahim, right? So I'll use the same email ID. And now immediately I get not available. As soon as you take focus out, blur, you take focus out, you go next, or you click here and there. For example, now if I click, I say comms. Now if I click from here, I click here. Now you can see getting available. Now here, if I click here, click somewhere other than blur means if you're clicking out, if you're clicking somewhere else other than this field. All right. Now this is the much better thing for checking, for checking the availability, right? So this is now it is available, right? I blur out available, and I say available. Now everything is available, right? So do practice this. It's a very fun working with. Now you can say without even refreshing the page, we haven't done, our page hasn't gone just even for a second, right? Hasn't even blinked, right? With a glimpse of eyes. Are we getting the output? And soon I can say it's magic. Now let me give you the final recap of what is happening, right? On blur, whenever you take focus out, you're checking the availability, passing the parameter, right? Either email or username. Now you are checking. If it is username, we know that we have to grab value from txt user. If it is email, we know that now we have to grab text from txt email. That is understood. Either I'm grabbing from one option or grabbing from second option, right? Okay. Now option can either have value of username or value of either email. And then you say if you have typed, if option has something, either username or email, the length of keywords, right? If I say I'm having only 2 keywords here, so I'm getting nothing to check, right? Now, so if it is more than 2, then go and do get and pass 2 parameters, right? Which is value as val. What is value? Capital username or capital email. What is option? The input type text value of either email or username. Both are going to register.jsp, and you go to register.jsp. Now if it is username, you go and call the function check username, and that returns the string whether that's available or not. And if it is email, right, you go and set the email and call check email function, that returns whether that email is available or not. It's very simple logic, but yeah, the only complicated thing here is that we try to do in a single function. We succeeded. We are doing it in a single page, which is register.jsp, but yeah, we are differentiating. On post something else is happening, and on get something else is happening, and both the ways we are using the code, right? And we are using AJAX up to the best extent, and this is the best thing that we can do with the form, best automation that we can apply, so that the user checks the username, thereby at the time when he's entering the username and password, he's checking it immediately, right? So let me take a look at the timing. So timings is still, we have 2 minutes, so I'll not be able to complete anything in 2 minutes. All right, but what I can do, I wish you guys all the best, and I request you guys once again to be completely synchronous with me. You can ill afford to go, or keep yourself behind me, or let me go ahead so far, wherein it becomes absolutely impossible for you to reach me. All right, synchronous process is very important, and it's very important when you're not in front of me, right? So it defines your passion and skill, that despite of not being in front of me, not being forced for the homework, right, you still do it for the passion. And that's what an aspiring student does always, right? And do not waste time, right? And do complete this, right? And submit it, right? In case if you are having any problem, right? In case if you have not checked the previous video, or you have jumped in directly, it's not that or normal development. It's a full stack development where we are using many dependencies, or we're creating dependencies, right? And for that you have to be completely synchronous with me, and to remain in synchronous with me, you have to go through all the parts and see where we started from. We are also learning. I'm not hiding those exceptions that I get, right? If I hide them, maybe you may get them tomorrow and you don't know how to rectify them. I'm just handling exceptions live video, right? I'm showing you how to tackle with exceptions, how to tackle with debugging and each and every single thing, right? And that's what your job is too, right? And complete the work and see you tomorrow with a new video, and we'll continue with the AJAX, right? And till then, I wish you all the very best. Do complete your work, remember me in your prayers, and work hard. Bye bye, take care. All right, where is video? Bye bye.